Hi everyone, my name's Kate Kalthoff and welcome to a Stamping to Share video. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up and today I'm going to share with you this card. I have a couple of versions here. The first version shows this Blended Bloom stamp just colored once with the Coastal Cabana. It's been embossed on vellum, our cardstock vellum, and it's a real sheer translucent look. And then here is where I've colored it twice with the Coastal Cabana marker. I've colored it once, let it dry, and then colored it again. And the look is a little bit more opaque, but yet there still is a lot of sheerness to it. Both of them are gorgeous. And then I'm going to show you a third way to do this card right now. So the first thing that we're going to need is some baked brown sugar cardstock. I've cut it at 5.5 by 8.5 and I've scored it at 4 1/4. And I've just folded it on the score line and I'm going to just set this aside for a second. The next thing is our inside panel. Might as well take care of that right away. We have some Whisper White cardstock. It's cut at 4 by 5 1/4. And then I have also cut just a small piece of pattern paper to go on the inside just to carry the theme through. This is cut at 1/2 inch by 4 inches. And we can go ahead and put this directly into our inside panel. I just use a strip of snail across the top. That's all you need to really hold it in securely. You want a nice loose flowing card. I think it adds a little bit of elegance. And then the next thing we're going to do is we're going to set together these panels. We have a 3 3/4 by 5 inch Coastal Cabana piece of cardstock here, and then we also have a 3.5 by 3.5 inch piece of Lullaby Designer Series paper. That's a really nice pack. I've been working with it for about a month now, just because we demonstrators were able to get it on our pre-order. So I'm just going to take a little bit of multi-purpose liquid glue and I'm going to glue this 3.5 inch square panel to the bottom of my Coastal Cabana panel. The next thing that I'd like to do is use a little bit of our Watercolor Wonder washi tape. This tape has 3 to a pack, very inexpensive as well, and I've gotten a lot of use out of washi tape. At first I didn't really know what to do with it, but as time went by, I think all of us demonstrators have learned how to work with it. Today I'm going to use it as a little strip across my card, so I'm just lining it up with the top of this pattern paper, and I'm just going to take it all the way across my card, and we are just going to fold that over on the other side. I really like how this easily gives interest to your card. And then another thing I'm going to do right away is wrap some of this baked brown sugar baker's twine around my card. I think I'm just going to do that twice. There's probably about, it's probably like 21 or 22 inches here. Let me get this tied. I have to go at it from a little bit different angle than what I was doing before. So I just wrapped it around the card twice, and I will trim this in a second here. And I think I want this to overlap, so I'm going to overlap that so we have a little bit of interest going on here at the bottom of the card. I like this crisscross look, just something a little bit different. And now I'll take a scissors, and I don't want this knot to be too big, or I mean I don't want the loops coming off the knot to be too big, or the string, so I'm just going to trim that kind of nice and close. Just a little something going on there extra. And I think I will move it just a little bit more. There we go. Move that focal point just a little bit. Alright, and now, because we are set with this panel, let's go ahead and put it directly onto our card. I have some little pieces of dimensional here, and we're just going to put 5 of them onto this panel, and then we can set that right onto our card and get that out of the way so that we can focus on our blended bloom. So I'll just peel these off, and we are ready to set this on our panel. Our card is basically done except for the flower. All right, so let's work on the flower. I do have a piece of scrap here, but I'm going to set it aside for a second. This is what I've done. This is just a scrap piece of cardstock vellum that Stampin' Up! Carries. I love it. It's so sturdy. If you've ever purchased vellum anywhere outside of Stampin' Up!, if you haven't been able to get the cardstock vellum, you'll know how flimsy it can be. And this is really nice and sturdy. It works great for embossing. So I just took the Versamark ink pad and I inked up my Blended Bloom stamp, and it's a wood mount stamp. It looks like this. And I just inked that up with Versamark. I stamped it onto my scrap of vellum cardstock, and then I poured black embossing powder over the top and heated it up with my heat gun. And this is the result. Then what you're going to need are 2 of Stampin' Up's in color pens. This is just a regular marker. This is the soft suede. I'm sorry, I was thinking this was the baked brown sugar, but it's not. It's the soft suede. So that is part of our neutrals line. And you're going to take this and just right over the top of all of this embossing, you are just going to fill in. So this is quite a large circle here to fill in. And then once you have all of your brown spots in, you're also going to color in all these flip overs. You can see there's some little flip overs to the flowers. You'll color that all in with your soft suede marker. And once you've done that and you've done all of your brown pieces, you're going to flip it over onto scrap paper, and then you're going to just take your finger and burnish it from the back. And what this does is any ink that happens to be floating on the top of that embossed area is going to come off onto your paper. The reason you want to do this is if you would happen to brush against this, you would end up with this loose ink on your fingers or on your card in a place where you don't want it. You'll do the same thing once you've colored in your petals. So you just take the Coastal Cabana and you just color it in. Now this is just one piece of coloring right here where I'm just doing one layer of color over my petals, and once that has dried a little bit, you can go back over it and make a second layer, or you can do what we're going to do today, which is where you are going to put a second layer on, but only over part of the petals. So for example, if you want to get sort of a two-tone look on your petal, you just go back in with your ink and just over that section that you've already done once, you'll put a second layer of color. So I'll bring this up to the camera. Maybe you can see it a little bit better up close, or maybe not. It's hard to tell. It's hard to tell what really shows up, but you can see how that second layer of color adds some depth and interest. Now I did go ahead, and I knew that you wouldn't want to watch me color that whole flower, so I did go ahead and I did one for you in advance, and I also cut this out so it's ready to go right onto the card. I'll see if I can hold it up here to this paper. Can you see that? Can you see how there's two tones on this flower? It's so pretty in real life. Now what we're going to do is we're just going to set this onto our card. So we're going to put it on with some multi-purpose liquid glue. It really doesn't show up behind the vellum and all of the coloring, so we'll just do a nice little circle all the way around. And we are going to set this right on our card. I'm kind of making sure that this center tape line runs right through the center of our flower. And our card is complete. I hope you've enjoyed this video tutorial. Have a great day. Thank you so much for stopping by Stamping to Share. I truly appreciate you. And if you ever need supplies or products, please visit my website at www.stampingtoshare.com, and there's also lots of other ideas there. Have a great day. Bye-bye.